What is going on, guys? Jack here and welcome to another Football Manager Simulate here in Football Manager 2016, and today we are doing Zidane at Real Madrid. Of course, in real life, Rafa Benitez has literally just been sacked. This is actually a video I prepared a few months ago expecting Benitez to get sacked. I had to delay it, but I have everything ready for us here. So today we're going to get straight into it. So it is, of course, Zidane, as I mentioned, at Real Madrid. Of course, a role which he is taking on board, having been promoted from the Castilla team, kind of the B team at Real Madrid. If we look at his manager profile here, you can see his preferred kind of staff role is assistant manager, but he's more than adept to be a manager. You can see, looking at his coaching and mental attributes, they're pretty decent all in all. Of course, in real life, Real Madrid currently sit 4 points behind Barcelona. Going to be interesting to see how Zidane gets on in real life today. We're going to go forward a few seasons, see how he does at Real Madrid. Hopefully they win some titles. Hopefully he doesn't get sacked immediately. And other than that, let's get straight into it and go to the end of our first season with Zidane in charge. Okay, guys, so it is the end of Season 1 for Zinedine Zidane. We can see here it's the 1st of June 2016, and, well, look at it here. He's still in charge. He hasn't been sacked immediately, so that's pretty decent stuff. Just a quick look at his attributes. I'm not going to be able to notice some changes. Maybe you guys can. But as you can see here, if we didn't look at this before, but he's had a few, various roles at Real Madrid. He was an assistant manager for a year before going to Castilla, and of course he's taken the helm here in our little experiment. So the first thing we'll do is have a quick look at their transfers. Who did they bring in and out? And actually looking at them, nothing too major on the kind of transfers. Casemiro going to Arsenal for £18.5 million. On the ins, Donnarumma, I've butchered that pronunciation. This guy, of course, a really hot prospect, a very talented young Italian goalkeeper at AC Milan in FM and in real life. He's been playing regular first team football, so he has gone to Real Madrid, playing in their under-19s. And Emmanuel Mas from San Lorenzo joining them. 27 years old, this guy. Not a bad price at £2.6 million. Not played a load of games for them, but he looks like he was kind of brought in as a backup. So nothing too crazy, I guess, there by Real Madrid on the transfers. Let's take a look at their fixtures, see how they got on. And actually looking at it here, there's a little bit of red to start off. A look at this pre-season. They lost to Besiktas, Inter, Bayern Munich. That's a little bit concerning, but it looks like they did perhaps, get things back on the straight and narrow. If we look here at the Liga BBVA table, they actually lost out on head-to-head to Barcelona. That's going to be heartbreaking. We'll have a look at their head-to-head against Barcelona, because clearly that is what kind of decided the title. And if we look at opposition by alphabetical order, where is Barcelona? Barcelona is missing. Someone send out the search. Oh, I'm blind. Okay, they lost them twice. They lost them 3-2 away and 2-1 at home. So two pretty disappointing games. Benzema getting 2 goals for them there. So how did Real Madrid get on in other competitions? Let's take a quick look here. We will get rid of Liga BBVA so we can focus on this. So looking at it, they got into the Europa League, so they must have been knocked out in the Champions League group stages, which is way below what you'd kind of, I guess, expect from Real Madrid. If we look here, they must have finished 3rd in a division, and they did, behind Borussia Mönchengladbach and PSG. They only got 7 points. And Olympiacos as well, almost finishing above them. That is really bad. In the Europa League, how did they get on? If we sort by date, that's probably going to make sense here. They actually got knocked out in the quarterfinals by Schalke, 5-4 on aggregate, so a little bit unlucky there. In other competitions, they did lose. They lost. Oh wow! They lost in the Copa del Rey semi-final to Sevilla on penalties, I do believe. Looking at the penalty kind of take, as you can see, Sevilla didn't miss one. So really, this has been a really odd season for Real Madrid. I'm surprised, if I'm honest, that they've not sacked him based off these results. A pretty average season at best. You can see, obviously, they got knocked out of the Champions League. They didn't win the league. They didn't win the Europa League. How does their squad look? Let's just take a quick look at it here. We'll go on selection. Goal scorers, Ronaldo and James Rodriguez getting a lot of goals for them. Benzema and Isco also right up there. In terms of big perform as well, it's not really surprising, is it, to see Cristiano Ronaldo up there. It will be interesting to see with an ageing Ronaldo if Zidane can kind of turn around the fortunes of Real Madrid. Certainly a disappointing first season. I'm going to join you guys at the end of another year. We'll see how he's got on, and hopefully Zidane is still going to be in charge and maybe, just maybe, winning a little bit of silverware. Okay, guys, so it's 2017. We're back at Real Madrid. Let's see how they got on. I'm going to look straight at the league table. Did they win it? Wow. Okay. That's... wow. Okay, they got 99 points from 38 games, and they only lost 1 match, and that was against Deportivo, of all teams, in 11th. So Zidane, I assume he's still in charge. Well, we know he's still in charge. We saw the profile a second ago, but he's worked some magic. It's fair to say he's worked a little bit of magic. Of course, he's a legend at Real Madrid. which probably prevented him getting sacked last season. How have they done in other competitions? In fact, let's not get too ahead of ourselves here. Let's take a look at the transfers, and wow, they spent £108 million. They brought in Lazar Markovic from Liverpool for £33 million. That is a very big transfer there. Markovic, a very good player in FM, perhaps a little bit overrated. He has a very, very good potential ability. Other big signings, they signed Icardi from Inter, and looking at it here, he got 15 goals in 18 games, so was a massive player for them in the league. They also brought in Bernardo Silva from AS Monaco, and again, 11 goals and 10 assists for him. It looks like they brought in some very, very good signings here at Real Madrid, players who really made an impact. They also brought in a few other players. They brought in Diakate here, who's a good little Senegalese, talented centre mid. It looks like they have signed, a fair few younger players. They've got Valdeverde here, who's 18, looks a little bit older than that. They've got Van Roon, who is a regen. He looks like quite a good goalkeeper. I got a bit excited saying his name there. Who else they got? They've got Jerry St. Just. What a name that is. That's probably not how you say it, but 20 years old. I can't say I've heard of this guy, but he looks like a pretty decent centre-back. And they also brought in Hal Tavares, who is another talented youngster. So a few big transfers there on the ins. In terms of the outs, no kind of players who really jump out at me. Emmanuel Mas, the player who they bought last year, they sold on for £4.5 million. But with the exception of that, there's no massive players. I guess Lorente is a player who you might consider noteworthy leaving the club. But a lot of the younger players leaving, Arbeloa perhaps the one that really jumps out of me as a recognisable player. But all in all, it looks like they didn't do, a ton of business on the kind of transfer front in terms of players leaving. So how did they get on in other competitions? Well, actually, we can see here, I've done goofed because they are in the Champions League final. So we won't actually be able to check that until next season because I'm a silly Billy. I do apologise for that. As we can see, record once, amateur Jack, sort it out. Right, that's a cliffhanger right there. Let me know in the comments right now, will they beat Bayern Munich when we check at the end of next season? Let me know. In terms of the other competitions that they are doing work in, let's have a look. So in the league, we talked about their amazing form. They won the league convincingly. You can see they drew against Barcelona 2-2. And in their other game against Barcelona, they won 2-0 at home. That is a really, really big result for them. In terms of other competitions, let's just get rid of Liga BBVA. Let's have a look at how they did in the Champions League. So in the Champions League, it looks like they had a quite kind group with PSV, Internacional and Dynamo Kiev. But in the knockout rounds, to knock out Juventus, 3-2 on aggregate. And also Atletico Madrid, of course, their Madrid rivals, 7-3. That is pretty impressive. Some nice results there. In terms of the Copa del Rey, how did they get on in that competition? Because that is another one of their big competitions. And actually, you can see here they lost in the quarterfinals to Barcelona. That's going to be pretty disappointing for Real Madrid. But I think it's fair to say that Zidane this year, much better year. They've reached the Champions League final. They've won the league. They almost went unbeaten as well in the league. Looking at their big performance this year, James Rodriguez again right up there. 23 goals for this man. The 25-year-old Colombian really showing and proving, I guess, to be a valuable player. We looked at a few of their signings as well, like Bernardo Silva, who definitely made an impact this year, as well as Icardi, who is out injured actually with a strained stomach muscle. That might have kept him out towards the end of the season. But anyway, looking pretty good for Zidane. I think we'll go forward once more. We'll see how they get on. Let me know, of course, down in the comments. Will they beat Bayern Munich this year as we look at it? Let me know. Let's go on to the next one. I'll join you guys in just a second for the last kind of year, I guess, of Zidane's reign that we're going to be looking into. Okay guys, so we are back again. It's 2018. Zidane is still in charge, which is pretty pleasing to say. Of course, one of our more recent kind of simulates we did with Sam Allardyce, he was sacked after 6 months. So this one has had some longevity. Looking at the league table here, Real Madrid winning the league yet again. Pretty impressive there. Cristiano Ronaldo with 23 league goals. Bernardo Silva with an 8.12 average rating. And James Rodriguez leading the way with the assists. A really good season for Real Madrid here. They finished 6 points ahead of Barcelona in the end. Lost slightly more games than last year, but nevertheless, I think most Real Madrid fans would agree that winning the league is more than enough of an achievement. But anyway, let's have a quick look at their transfers before we look at, of course, last season's Champions League and how they got on this year. In terms of signings, they brought in Denis Suarez and Robben. Okay, they're two pretty big transfers. Robben joining them. Looking at it here, he only played 5 games. Wow. Surprised they brought him in, really, and he's earning almost £200,000 a week. Denis Suarez also joining them from Villarreal, a talented player, I think it's fair to say, this guy. 24 years old. If we look at him, he didn't actually play a game. So a little bit of money debatably wasted, but clearly it didn't affect them too much. They also brought in this guy, Muto, who is a Japanese striker. And they brought him in from Lazio. I can't say I've heard of this guy. He only played 7 games and didn't score. So Real Madrid, 2017-18 season, perhaps not the biggest and wisest spenders of money. In terms of the outs, they sold Gareth Bale for £27.5 million. That's a pretty big player to let go at 28 years old, but it doesn't look like he had a crazy impact at PSG, you can see there. They also let players like Isco go to Chelsea, which I guess is somewhat surprising, at £25 million. And I think I just saw Pepe was released on a free, as well as Hesse. So a few big players there, and actually Odegaard and Donnarumma, or I don't know how to say that guy's name, I'm going to come clean with you, but they've both gone out on loan. So unfortunately in this experiment, we're not going to see, some of the younger Real Madrid players really come into, I guess, the limelight and the spotlight. So anyway, let's have a look at the league. And actually, the first one we'll do is we'll look at the previous Champions League final. And they actually lost it 1-0 against Bayern Munich. And we can't look at that game, unfortunately, because it was a season ago. I don't know why this game was played so late on. Usually, the Champions League game is played in May. So I don't know why it was played in June. But they did lose it 1-0. Question is, how did they get on this year? Well, let's have a look at each competition individually. We know they won Liga BBVA. But how did they get on against some of the big guns? So against Atletico Madrid, they drew. They beat Barcelona 2-0. They beat Barcelona 2-0 in the return leg as well. So two really big wins there over their rivals. Pretty much what secured them the table. They did, however, lose to Atletico Madrid away from home 1-0. So a little bit disappointing there. If we move on to the Copa del Rey, let's have a look and see how they got on. They actually won the entire thing, which is the first time they've done it during Zidane's reign in this little kind of simulation. You can see Santander, Real Oviedo, Sevilla, Atletico Bilbao and Levante, the teams they beat. Levante, perhaps a surprise team to get to the final. Surprised that they didn't come across Barcelona very often in the Copa del Rey, of course. It's a case of Barcelona, Real Madrid kind of either meeting and knocking each other out or just simply meeting in the final. Anyway, let's take a look finally at the Champions League. They lost the final last time out. And wow, okay, they actually won the entire thing against the team who beat them the previous year. That's a pretty crazy game. And looking at it here, Thomas Muller scored in the 89th minute to take it to extra time. So as you can see, Real Madrid winning it on penalties. That is a great narrative. That's kind of a crazy kind of FM story, I guess you could say. Real Madrid, Zidane's team, lost 1-0 last season. They come back in the Champions League. They reach the final. They take on the same team. And twice they are pegged back late on in the game. Goes to penalties, and it was a very tight game looking at the stats here. But in the end, the penalties proved kind of important. Now, I don't know if it was Lewandowski or Goetze who missed the penalty, but regardless, it saw Real Madrid win the entire thing. So that is pretty crazy there, which is one of the crazy kind of FM stories that you sometimes see. So all in all, Zidane did a pretty good job here at Real Madrid. We'll take one just quick look at Zinedine Zidane's profile. I don't think his attributes changed massively, although his staff role as a manager definitely improved. You can maybe pause and take a look at his biography if you want to look at the managerial segment here. But you can see he won a load of awards. And he did a very, very good job here at Real Madrid. To be honest, I'm a little bit surprised. Let me know what you make of kind of Zidane taking over Real Madrid. Let me know if you think he's going to do as well as he's done here. I mean, the bar's been set pretty high by Football Manager this time around. If you have enjoyed this FM Simulates video, guys, as I mentioned at the start, please do smash the like button. If you've got any suggestions for kind of more FM Simulates videos you'd like to see, leave them down in the description, or rather the comments of this video. The description is my area. The comment is for you to have your say. Make sure you go leave it. And other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, it is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.